Kai lived in a world cloaked in shadows where smiles often hid selfish desires. People whispered sweet words, their eyes reflecting hidden agendas. Trust was a fragile thing, easily broken. It was a world Kai found increasingly difficult to navigate. Kai had a good heart. He saw the good in everyone, believed in the power of kindness. He offered a helping hand, a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on. His generosity knew no bounds, but the world mistook his kindness for weakness. People took advantage of his good nature. They exploited his generosity, drained his spirit, leaving him depleted and heartbroken. Yet Kai persevered, clinging to the belief that kindness would ultimately prevail. He held on to the hope that one day the world would see him, the real him, not just the giver they could exploit. Friends borrowed money never to repay. They sought favors, offering empty promises in return. Family members took his support for granted, their expectations a heavy burden on his soul. Kai gave and gave, his heart growing heavier with each act of unappreciated kindness. Strangers, too, sensed his vulnerability. They spun tales of woe, their eyes pleading for help, their hands outstretched for assistance. Kai, unable to turn away from genuine need, offered what little he had left. He believed in their stories, their promises of repayment, only to be met with disappointment time and again. Each act of exploitation chipped away at his spirit, leaving him feeling used and insignificant. His kindness, once a source of joy, became a heavy cloak, weighing him down with each passing day. The deepest wound came from the one person he trusted most, his partner, the one who promised love, loyalty, and a shared journey. Their betrayal cut the deepest, shattering his heart into a million pieces. She used his love, his unwavering support, as a ladder to climb her own path. She took his dreams, his aspirations, and twisted them to serve her own ambitions. When she no longer needed him, she discarded him like a worn-out garment, leaving him with nothing but the bitter taste of betrayal. Her betrayal was a cruel confirmation of his worst fears. It validated the world's perception of him, that kindness was a weakness, a vulnerability to be exploited. The pain was unbearable, a constant ache in his chest that threatened to consume him entirely. The breaking point, a life almost lost. Kai retreated into himself, his spirit broken, his hope extinguished. The world he had so earnestly tried to make a better place had crushed him under the weight of its own selfishness. He was drowning in a sea of despair, his cries for help swallowed by the waves of indifference. One cold, desolate night, he reached his breaking point. The pain of betrayal, the weight of his own kindness became unbearable. He decided to end it all. To silence the voices of disappointment, to escape the suffocating grip of his own despair. He stood on the precipice of oblivion, the world a blur of muted colors and muffled sounds. As he prepared to take the final step, a surge of energy coursed through his veins. A forgotten memory buried deep within his subconscious flickered to life. Images flooded his mind, a time of ancient wisdom, of celestial beings and divine powers. He saw himself not as the broken man he had become, but as a powerful entity, a celestial guardian tasked with protecting humanity. He remembered his true identity, his divine purpose. He was Kai, the keeper of hearts, the protector of empathy and compassion. He was the champion of kindness, the one who held the delicate balance between light and darkness. The realization washed over him like a tidal wave, awakening a dormant power within him. Anger, righteous and potent, surged through him. Anger at the world for its cruelty, for its blatant disregard for the very qualities that made humanity worth saving. And anger at himself for forgetting who he truly was, for allowing himself to be diminished by the darkness. The world resets, a new law is written. His divine power surged, a beacon of light in the encroaching darkness. He would no longer be a pawn in the world's game of manipulation and deceit. He would no longer stand by and watch as kindness was trampled upon, exploited and discarded. With a thought, he reached out and touched the very fabric of existence. He rewrote the rules, established a new law that would govern human interaction. From that moment forward, those who harbored selfish intentions, those who sought to manipulate and exploit, would only be able to interact with their own kind. The world shifted, realigned itself according to his decree. People gasped, confused and disoriented as they found themselves surrounded by reflections of their own nature. The selfish, the manipulative, the cruel, they were all drawn together, forced to confront the ugliness they had tried so hard to ignore.